Welcome to the Debrief on Up the Villa podcast, where we have a more of a detailed, in-depth look at what happened in Aston Villa's game. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. Don't really think I ever get a guest on the Debrief. I think it's normally just me. So, joined by Justin. How you feeling after it?
Yeah, I'm more than satisfied, We'll get into it in more detail, I'm sure, but overall, a home win. Didn't concede a goal. They didn't have a shot on target. Happy days, 3 points. Let's move on. It's what more could you ask for?
I mean, I'll reiterate what I wanted, what I saw was what I got. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was on this pod all week saying I want to mirror the away with the home, be on the front foot, control possession, boss the game, move Palace about, which is what we did do. Then rarely had they didn't have a sniff, did they? Never had a shot on
No.
Martinez's goal. Like, that is a brilliant home performance to me. Now, whether it's like it's not attacking enough or it's not, siege mentality on their goal is a different manner. But I would take walking out that ground, feeling how I felt watching that, calm, chilled, knowing that we got it in control, winning 1-0 at home every single week. I'd take that every single week. Do you know what I mean? Like, we won. So
Absolutely.
what I can't understand what would be wrong with that performance. So I was really happy with it. It's what I wanted. So yeah, let's.
It's an evolution, isn't it? At the end of the day, and this is what, as a whole, as the fan base, we've got to just understand. And Matty Cash's post-match press conference and his little interview he did was really, really telling. Really, they obviously felt it from the stands that fans were getting a bit frustrated and edgy when we play out from the back. This is the thing at the moment, isn't it? And I totally understand that. And everybody, every single fan that pays money, and even that doesn't pay money, to be honest, that supports the club, has done all their lives, loves the Villa, is entitled to think whatever they want. It is absolutely fine. It's no problem at all. So, but we come on and speak as we see it. And yes, I'll get a bit edgy when we play it out from the back because there are going to be mistakes. We're nowhere near the finished article. But the manager sets us out to play like that. We've got to learn how to play like that. He's only 12 league games in to his tenure at Villa. And for me, it's been pretty much superb. It's not perfect, absolutely not perfect. But we've got to educate ourselves as a fan base, I think, because they're obviously feeling it on the pitch. Cash wouldn't have said what he said if they didn't maybe even talk about it, in the dressing room after the game, that the fans have got to understand this is how we are going to play for the foreseeable future. As long as Emery's here, this is how we're going to play. So we've got to buy into it as quickly as we possibly can. We've got to understand that it's going to take a bit of time. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be games where we lose games by conceding a goal from playing out from the back. But overall, it's definitely the way forward, honestly. I can't reiterate that in my mind enough. Absolutely can't.
I mean, we go back to when Emery came at the club, and I bigged Emery up big time, and I know you did, and I know Ryan did, and I know everybody on this channel bigged Emery up, and we were saying he's an elite coach. He's a coach like we've never had before.
Yeah.
And it's understandable for people to react in a way of, don't big it up too soon, don't get over the top, don't think we're going to do this, don't think we're going to do that. But the way Emery is and the way Emery does stuff is totally different to any manager that we've had at this club for a very, very long time. He's not here to come and get a short fix. He's not here to come and sort of say, I want you to go on the counter-attack and you'll be absolutely brilliant. And then the next 6 or 7 games, we're trying to find this really attacking, brilliant performance that we had that we never see again for about 7 games. We're not there. We don't want to see that.
No.
We're over that. We're over the managers that say, roll your sleeves up, or if we were really bad, they take the small glimmer of positive out of that result. We haven't got that manager either. We've got a
No.
manager like after Arsenal, where I didn't think we played very good against Arsenal, and Emery came out and he was picking it to pieces because he wasn't happy with it, and that's his expectation and levels after playing a team that's top of the league. So I think what Emery's doing and trying to build is something like we've not seen before. Like, he's building like a style of play. He's
Yeah.
building philosophy. I mean, I'm 33 years of age. What even is that at Villa? Because I've never seen it at Villa. Do you know? I've never seen
No, I mean,
a distinct style of play.
Dino had a way of playing that obviously suited the Championship and to an extent the Premier League, but it did run out of steam in the Premier League. And then you go back to Gerrard, who essentially had 12 months at Villa. And if I am brutally honest, after 12 months, we did the podcast throughout the whole of his tenure at Villa, and I cannot remember one time doing a post-match, a pre-match pod talking about one of his games in charge when I understood what he was trying to do with the team. I just didn't. It never stood out to me. I just didn't understand it. There was no rhyme or reason to it. Emery's come in with a specific way of playing that has suited him and brought him masses of success in the whole of his career at every single club he's been at. It's not a one-time thing. Every club he's been at, he's had success. And we've just got to go along with the ride. And like I say, just patience, enjoy it. We will get there. The passing is improving game on game. At the end of the day, Palace are 10 games without a win, right? So straight away, as a fan, you go, oh, we'll beat these then. We're at home, 10 games without a win. But if you actually analyse those 10 games, they drew 5 of them. And of the 5 they lost, they only lost 1 by more than 1 goal, which tells you they're a really, really hard team to beat. And if you do beat them, you beat them by the odd goal. Now, we scored 1 and we had 2 excellent chances to get a second and maybe even a third. So, yes, it wasn't perfect, but I really think, we're on the right path. And to say that we didn't play amazingly and won 1-0 and didn't have a shot, they didn't have a shot on target,
Thing is, though, Justin, this is the thing, and this is what my point I was trying to make. Unai Emery's had 500 career matches,
yeah.
right? And he's won more than 50% of them.
It's not a fluke, is it?
There you go. He's had 500 games and he's won more than 50% of those games. Like, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with somebody who just wants to win.
Yeah.
And that's what happened on Saturday.
That's
We
all he
won.
cares about. That's all he cares about. He cares about creating a system that more often than not will, at the very, very least, be ultra competitive in every single game we play in. And we won't always win. Obviously, it's football. You just can't win every game. We're certainly not good enough to be anywhere near that at the moment. We're not Man City or one of the elite European giants. We're not. But that's the end goal. That's where we are shooting for. And you don't jump from where we are or where we were when he came in to there without problems along the way and oh, this has gone wrong and that's gone wrong. But you certainly don't throw the baby out with the bathwater as soon as one thing goes wrong. We have conceded goals from
Well,
playing out from the
we've
back.
seen that because
Yeah,
we've
made mistakes.
we've had 2 mares playing out from the back. We
Yeah,
had the one against Leicester and we had the one against who was the
Emi
other one?
Martinez
Yeah,
when he
can't
played it
think.
into Kamara. Was it
Yeah,
Arsenal? No, it wasn't Arsenal, was it?
no, there
It
was
was
no, there was
Leicester. Yeah.
Brighton and
Yes.
Leicester. So we've
Yes.
had 2 major mares, right?
Yeah.
The mentality of Emery and mentality of the team is so we keep
Yeah.
doing it. We keep doing it, and we'll keep doing it until we get it right. And that's how we're going to do it. Now, in a minute, I'm going to show you a graphic, right? So anyone that's watched this pod over the last couple of weeks will have seen a passing network graphic. So when we've put this passing network graphic on against Manchester City, we were all like, "What is going on?" Like it was atrocious. Like there weren't three passes strung together in the whole passing network. So in a minute, wait until we get to it. So let's go through
I
the
can't
stats.
wait now. Go and watch it
Well,
first.
you watch, right? So tail of the game then. Aston Villa had an XG of 1.17. We had 58% possession, 8 shots, 1 on target. They had 3 shots and none on target. We had 527 passes, 88% passing accuracy. They had 362 and they had 84% passing accuracy. Now, for me as well, this is a big one. This amount of passes that we're making per game, because ever since we've been doing this pod, we've been playing teams like Liverpool, City, whatever, and every time we play them, they're in the 500s,
Pass us off the
600s.
park, don't they? Yeah.
Now, we're starting to be that team that's having a lot of the football, and I think that is already one area of progress for me, is that we want the football and we want to keep the football. So I think that's pretty good. We did lose the ball 107 times. They lost it 104. This was the momentum bar of the game. Aston Villa are in green on the top.
Sorry, Luke. Just go back. Go back one script. Right. That's an interesting statistic. Obviously, a lot of people saying, that we pass it obviously short, but that we do try and go long on occasion. That's something that we're not afraid to do. If you haven't said quite an important percentage there is that 59% for me, because we're not afraid to go long. But what's very, very important when you do decide to go long is that them long balls are accurate.
Yeah,
If you've got an out ball and there's a possible run at, or Watkins is making a good run, or somebody's in space, you've got a crossfield ball switching the play. That's fine as long as them balls. What we don't want to see, and what we won't ever see, I'm more than convinced under Emery, is aimless long
yeah,
balls. People just say, just lump it up to the big man, or just get it in the channel. It's imperative that when we do go for a longer pass, that they are critically accurate, and that shows that nearly 60% of long balls are accurate. So I think that's quite an
Well, I
interesting
mean,
stat.
look at everything that we're doing here. 88% passing accuracy, 59% long ball accuracy, crosses now 50%.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
how many years gone by have we been watching Matty Cash just whacking balls in the box
aimlessly,
and
yeah.
to nobody? Well, now there's even a purpose with those balls that are going into the box as well. Even
Yeah.
dribbles. I mean, dribbles were nearly halfway. So,
Yeah, no,
you know,
yeah, it is. That's just an interesting stat. I saw that. Yeah, sorry to butt into you.
right. So there's the momentum bar. Villa on the top, Palace at the bottom.
That's one of the most fair reflect. That's one of the best statistics I think we have, that is, because it really shows you the ebb and flow of a game, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. This was Villa's average position. So pretty much like always, left back a little bit further forward, double pivot, focal point of Ollie Watkins, and then you've got McGinn and Ramsey either side of Buendia. So again, it looks pretty solid. We've got a shot map, so we are in the light blue on the right, and then you've got Palace on the left. You've got shots with XG by the minute. Again, Villa are at the top, Palace are at the bottom. So again, Villa pretty dominant. Are you ready for it, Justin?
Have you got Palace's style of play?
Nah. Are you ready for the
Go on,
passing network?
go on. I'm
Hold
hoping
on.
for.
That's where we attacked, by the way. So down the
Built it
middle.
up then.
Right, you ready?
Go on. Wow, that looks
I mean,
great, doesn't it?
that's 10 times better than that one a couple of weeks ago.
Well, what's important there is it shows that we're using both wide players, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's very strong. Well, very strong. Them thick lines are where obviously the most passes come. So Martinez to Mings and Konsa, great. There's great synergy there between Mings, Luis, Kamara, and Konsa. And then you've got obviously Kamara, Cash, Konsa on the right. You've got Moreno, Mings, Luis on the left. You've got nice interchange there with Moreno and Ramsey, Buendia as well. He's really good. Did no one pass to Ollie Watkins that game? Poor old Ollie
Well,
Watkins
there's
up front on his own.
the other thing to note as well is there's triangles,
Yeah,
which
that's what I'm saying. All over. It's the interplay and the interchange and the movement. It's building, isn't it? It's definitely
yeah,
building. That's a really nice. There's no one dominant side either, which
no,
is nice as well, which proves that we don't rely. Whilst our left back does tend to be our most attacking outlet out of the fullbacks. Cash, fantastic run and great move. We'll come on to that obviously for the goal, but it shows that he's. And I think he alluded to that in his post match, didn't he, as well, saying that he's spoken a lot to the manager and he's trying to work out ways where he can also be as effective going forward. And I think that shows that, up past Kamara and I thought McGinn was excellent as well, really, since his injury. That form was coming back, wasn't it, before that injury? And we hoped that, he could maybe get back to it as well. And I think he has, to be honest. Nice to see Ramsey starting to pick up again as well. I think he's had a bit of a lull. But he's having that confidence of being picked again. And Emi Buendia's starting to look like the player we signed, isn't he? So, yeah,
yeah,
it's a great statistic, that.
yeah. And then if I'm sure we've got palaces.
Someone's forgot to fill it in again.
Well, I mean, what did we speak about? We spoke about Anderson being the one from centre back with
Well, you said he was the
long.
threat, mate, and he certainly was, just in the wrong bloody goal.
Exactly, but we said about long raking passes, a lot of
Yeah,
stuff goes through him. Whereas you can see here now, he was shut down quite. He was kept
yeah,
quite quiet. And if you look at the actual shape of their team, it was going out wide both sides and breaking down. There was nothing through central midfield here, which tells me that our central midfield was pretty dominant
yeah,
at
massively, yeah,
breaking up Palace. So look at where they are as well on the pitch. The fact that they're hardly breaking through that halfway line, whereas you're looking at Villa.
yeah.
Our patterns of play are through that area as well.
Total
So
domination, isn't it? I mean, you look, like you say, look at that. Basically, we pressed them so highly. Sorry, the Palace one. We pressed them so highly that basically just the two centre halves were passing to each other all game. By the look of it, they couldn't get out, could they?
no.
Decore and Lakonga just barely passed to each other because we bypassed them.
Well,
And to be honest,
exactly. I mean,
and
they're playing with two holders, so
and they don't look like they even had any kind of synergy there.
they're trying to get a foothold in a game,
Yeah,
whereas our two holders, you know,
yeah,
the partnership
everything's
of
going
where
through them,
they're
isn't it?
distributing that ball is going everywhere. So
Yeah.
I think for me, what this shows is when I was saying that we were completely dominant in this game, we were absolutely completely dominant.
I agree.
No one can tell me otherwise that we didn't dominate this game.
I mean, when you saw the team news drop of Palace, and they had obviously Eze, Zaha, and Elise all playing. There was a little bit part of me that thought, oh, that's their three best
Well, it's
attacking
their
players
strongest.
playing.
That was their strongest
Yeah,
lineup.
it was. Yeah, yeah, and they hadn't been able to put that team out for quite a while, really, through lack of form and injuries and stuff. So I would have thought, he would have been really pleased to be able to put that team on the pitch, and we nullified them, basically. We nullified the threat. I mean, Zaha there, just basically, that graphic shows exactly what happened. He was just totally isolated, and he had to basically, if anything did happen, he had to try and do it on his own. But he didn't, because, apart from the offside goal, which was blatantly offside on VAR, they never put a shot on target. So, defensively wise, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Any Premier League club doesn't have a shot on target. It's massive tick for me. Back five.
100%. Right. Let's get into it then.
This is the beautiful part now.
Second time, 2 games in a row that we've scored from this same setup of playing out from the back. Now, what we'll notice is you can see, I'm sure that's Zaha. So Zaha has just engaged. Zaha has just started his press. So as soon as Zaha goes, that ball has to move. There was
Yeah.
one time where that ball didn't move when they engaged, and we had a bit of a mare, but it only led to a corner.
I
So
think a key point of this is when we start, just before we obviously move it up further up the pitch. A key point of this, and this is where I think a lot of fans' anxiety comes, is the amount of time the keeper holds onto the ball before making his first pass. And I think that does create, we are thinking, oh God, he's going to get chased down. But I think what's important, in my opinion, I don't get into the team tactics and the team talks at Villa, but I would imagine that he has to draw their players onto him. That's the
That's
whole
what he's
point of
doing.
this tactic, yeah?
Now
You have to
Brighton are
wait,
doing it as well.
yeah,
Brighton are doing the same thing. So what they're
yeah,
doing, they're waiting. So
yeah,
Martinez could wait there with that ball for 15 seconds. He will just chill with that ball at his
yeah.
foot. He will move that ball when that player comes towards him.
He's almost taunting them, isn't he? Saying, okay, I've got the ball, I can't pick it up. Now you come and take it off me. And if they won't, I think sometimes maybe if the opposition, they're better off just sitting off them and saying, okay, we'll just sit there all day. But once you've engaged and the front man goes in, then the other front man, Elise or Eze, whoever is up with him, or AU, they have to then think, right, do I then try and engage with one of the centre half? So I need to push up. And then your midfielders are having to push up on our sort of defensive midfielders, Louise and Kamara. So all of a sudden, that their pitch it's the gap, the lines in between their defence, midfield and attack are stretching, aren't they? And then there's gaps. Then the gaps, which is exactly how we exploited it today with that goal: pass, 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 gap, gap, gap. Look for a bit of space and totally expose them.
Yeah, the general shape of this is Martinez, Mings on the edge of the 18, Konsa on the edge of the 18 over
Yeah,
here, Cash on this side, and you've got Moreno on this side.
yeah.
So
It's splitting to give options, isn't it?
we've completely spread the full width of the pitch. The ball's gone into Mings. Mings has now knocked it into Moreno. Moreno's knocked it into into
It's a
Luis.
lucky Luis, and then you look at the closest midfielder there. There's two midfielders. As the ball's coming to him, there's two midfielders there. One of them's obviously coming to try and close him down straight away. The two or three forwards, you'd imagine there's another one on the left hand side as well that have tried to high press us, are now out the game. Now all of a sudden, their midfielders are having to come and press almost to the edge of our 18-yard box because of the space Luis is created, which then creates the space for like a Buendia or a Ramsey to sit in these gaps in between the midfield and the forward line. It's such a clever way of playing if you can execute it.
So, we've shifted the ball to this left-hand side. Look at all of this space
Yeah,
down here, right, to run into, right? Cash isn't even in this picture at the minute, right? He's not even in the picture. The ball's gone into Kamara. Kamara
yeah,
picks it up and drives forward a little bit. Now he passes the ball into McGinn. Now, this ball from McGinn is exquisite because McGinn could play. The easy ball now for McGinn is this.
yeah.
That's the easy ball. That's the easy ball. McGinn plays this ball down here.
And just before you move it on to the next picture, you look at is it Gay there, the centre half pointing?
Yeah.
Because, like I was saying, because their midfield have had to press higher, it's created this gap in between the lines for Buendia and McGinn to sit in. Now, all of a sudden, the centre half's thinking, you better engage with him. So the left back's having to come over now and engage, or Elise's having to track back and try and engage. McGinn's obviously got quite high football IQ intelligence. So he, like you say, the easy ball is just to flick it with the outside of his boot into that gap, but he doesn't because he knows he's got that space created by them trying to high press us and us playing through them. So he's got time then to just turn, which allows Cash then to make that really long busting run. And as long as he's got the quality then to pass the ball in, which isn't, it's not the most difficult to pass. The difficult thing for McGinn was to get the ball in and do the turn
Yeah.
and then think, okay, now I've got a bit of space, and it worked a treat. It was absolutely,
Yeah.
I watched it live. I was thinking, my God, that's a fantastic goal. That is.
Yeah. Like you've just described, the thought process of McGinn to have the awareness to know where he's got to put the ball's one thing, but to execute it, the
Yeah,
weight of pass is just phenomenal. And then absolutely brilliant. And now look at Palace now. every one of their
Oh,
players
panicking, aren't they?
face to goal, running that way as quick as they possibly can to get on the end of this. And if it wasn't Anderson, then it was pretty much going to be
Oh,
Watkins
it was nailed on Watkins' goal. Yeah, I mean, you look like
attacking.
now. What no defender wants to be turned, and now all of a sudden they were at the edge of the centre circle, and all of a sudden they're all turning and sprinting back in, and Cash has just got the whole of the final third of the pitch to run into. Make sure he takes one or two good touches. Make sure he looks up, which he doesn't always do if we're critical of him, but he's got so much time and space to run into that he can look up, and he's got Watkins to hit, and obviously the defender's got a really tough decision to make, and
Yeah.
I think he was a little bit unlucky. He got his feet mixed up a little bit, but without all
But
that
when
that
you
happened
put, yeah, but the
before,
thing is, Justin, as well, when you put a defender in that position,
yeah,
he's got to get something on it anyway.
he's got to make it. He's got to slide in and make a decision. He tries to clear it, or if he misses it, Watkins has got to tap in, hasn't he? But it was great ball in. It's something I would like to see Matty Cash doing more of, and like I say, I think he has spoke to the manager, and I think it's something he does want to do. And it was a well deserved goal, regardless of who put it in the net. It was a fantastic goal. I wonder if Anderson can get goal of the month for that for us.
Well, I just think it's it's the second one we've scored now at home in consecutive games, isn't it? The one against
Yeah,
Arsenal was absolutely brilliant.
fabulous. Yeah,
This one was just as good, playing out from the back. So there we go. It was a really, really good goal, and really pleasing to see. So it sets us up really nicely now because we've come off the back of 2 wins. We are still 11th, but we've sort of clawed Brentford in a bit more. I know they've got some games in hand, but you've got to win them. But we're doing it. We're doing what we can do, which is the main thing, and there's progress. And I just think from where we were before Emery come in, I think where are we in the form? His first
12 games. Yeah, I think I can only pick up the last 10. I think on my app, but I think form table wise, 10 games. We're eighth at the moment. I think obviously there's 2 more games, isn't there?
Yeah, I think
But yeah,
I've finished.
16 points from his last 10 games. It's I think he's fifth, isn't he, overall
Yeah, I
with
think so.
12 games. We've just honestly, I'm not calling any Villa fans out. I'll never do that because everybody's got the right to an opinion. I just think patience is needed. Honestly, we are. I just think we're getting there. Honestly, I really do. I
Yeah.
love watching it. I love seeing us evolve, the evolution of how we're playing, and let's not forget once again these aren't his players. He's only brought in a couple of players so far. Duran. It was a bit of a gamble because he's not going to play much, so he's not a finished article top level player, which I'm hoping we will be able to add in the summer. Moreno really was the only one he's added that was going to play quite regularly. So these aren't even his players, and look at the results we're getting. It's scary, honestly, that he's picked up essentially Gerrard's squad and he's turned him into comfortable top half team there, which is what I think we are now. I do. Comfortably top
I
half team.
think I think after 3 losses in a row, we were all getting a bit like, just a bit like, oh come on,
Well, it's
we're
frustrating.
better than this.
We
But
are, but I think fans would have acknowledged that we played Man City and Arsenal within that run. All right, the
yeah,
Leicester game was very disappointing, but you're going to get little hiccups like that, aren't you? But we've come straight back with 2 great wins, haven't we? With an opportunity to get even a couple more maybe in the row if things go our way next couple of games.
well, I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and start talking about West Ham, but that that's a difficult game for West Ham now.
And off the back of they're going to
That
play
that
away in
is,
Cyprus,
I
haven't they,
mean,
on Thursday night?
they've just had an absolute thumping away at home
Yeah,
against Brighton. They then go in Europe. They've then got a side that are coming to the Olympic Stadium that are very good
nothing
at
to lose.
away
Yeah,
from home. We will be set up very, very well. Now, you imagine if Villa go 1-0 up in that Olympic Stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, I am. I've visioned it already.
I can't wait. I
You'll be
can't
jumping
wait.
on me back.
I can't wait. We will both be there.
We'll both be there, yes.
But yeah,
I mean, they had a good win, didn't they, a couple of games ago, but Forest terrible away from home. So I'm certainly thinking we can go there and play in the way we are. Hopefully, Kamara, I can't see him maybe being fit by the look of him coming
what
off,
do you
but
think the vibe is with him?
um, I think he was definitely walking down the tunnel, on his bad foot, so he wasn't like hobbling down. So I'm hoping it's not as bad as it looked when he first happened. But I think we're just going to wait and see. Hopefully, maybe only 1 or 2 games. I think it's
Yeah,
probably the best case scenario. He only misses 1 or 2. I mean, essentially, we've got a game a week now to the end of the season. So if he misses 3 games, and 3 weeks, 2, 3 weeks, maybe. There's certainly no need to rush him back. We're not desperate. I know he's such an important player for us.
yeah,
I get that, but I'd rather have him fully banging for next season. I don't think he'll be out for the rest of the season, but I'd rather. What I'm saying is, I don't want to rush him back. There's no point.
yeah,
There's players that can come in and do a job there for us for a couple of games at least.
definitely.
Ashley Young's chance to play defensive midfield. There you go. It's a position he hasn't
Yeah,
played yet this season.
yeah. All right, cool. So we'll leave it there. And that's our debrief. A little bit more of a in-depth look at what happened against Palace. So we will be back all week with our normal content. We are going live on Wednesday evening. That's going to be the match preview. So Wednesday evening we'll be going live for that one. Yeah, we might try and get a football phone in somewhere as well. So cheers everyone for watching. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa. Up the Emirates.